Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. Guys, today is a massive day. I mean, I've been a little quiet on the front of the new zombies map because I wanted to wait till all of the information's come out and I can make one big, giant, compact video and tell you guys literally everything you need to know before this new map launches. And today, we just got our first look at the new zombies map, Citadelle Des Morts. We have the gameplay trailer, and we can break down a ton from this. And not only are we getting a new map with Season 1 Reloaded, but they're also making massive changes to the already existing Call of Duty Zombies gameplay loop. We're getting some new enemy types, we're getting a new perk, wonder weapons, field upgrades, etc. So I wanted to make everything in this giant video, so stick with me, guys. It's going to be kind of a long one probably, but let's go ahead and get into all this. All right, lads, so first and foremost, Treyarch broke all of this information on the COD pod the other day, and I imagine a lot of you guys probably haven't listened to that whole thing, so let me go ahead and summarize what they talked about there. So we knew we were getting a new field upgrade at some point, and in Season 1 Reloaded, we are getting Tesla Storm. This is returning from Cold War and MWZ. This is a field upgrade that essentially turns you as a player into this living electric coil, and if you are, playing co-op and have friends around you, you can also chain link to them, and you guys basically get all buffed together. It's a really cool one, and I think it's more useful in co-op than it is solo, but it's pretty sick nonetheless. So Tesla Storm will be returning not only to the new map, but to all previous maps as well. You can use this as well as brand new augments coming with it too. We are also getting a new alternate ammo type called Light Rend, which spawns healing orbs. So the way that it was described is this is kind of like Zombshell in Black Ops 4, where it spawns these light orbs, and this is a bit more of a support-based ammo mod, it looks like, where if you're really low on health, this is going to come to you and restore your HP. And there's also an augment that makes it so that if zombies are running through these light orbs, they will also take damage. Very similar to Zombshell in BO4. So I think this is pretty cool, and obviously this will have its own individual augments as well. I'm looking forward to using this one, trying it out, because it's really not like an offense-based ammo mod. It's more of a support/healing thing, which is pretty interesting, so we'll see how that plays into the meta. Now, here's a big one. With the new perk we're getting, a lot of people are like, yo, it's going to be Mule Kick, or it's going to be Tombstone. It's neither of those. Guess what? Vulture Aid from Black Ops 2 is going to be returning, and so this was a perk that was really only featured on Buried, and this one's pretty special because it allowed zombies to drop bullets and additional ammo, which really wasn't a thing back in Black Ops 2, but it also had the feature of creating this green smoke cloud that hides you from zombies. I don't know if it's going to have that effect or that property necessarily, but this essentially increases the chances for zombies themselves to drop ammo, armor, equipment, and so on. I think it's going to work kind of like how Mule Kick did in Cold War. I know it's kind of confusing, but Vulture Aid should be very interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the augments on that one. Not to mention, the perk machine itself has a big vulture on it that when zombies walk by it can be killed by the big bird, and this is similar to how Mule Kick worked in Cold War, where the weapon on the machine would start shooting and maybe kill a zombie or two that was running by it. It was pretty cool. Nothing too game-changing or anything, but I think it's pretty neat nonetheless. But Vulture Aid will not only be coming on the new map, but will be available on Liberty Falls and Terminus too. In addition to that, we will also be receiving a new handful of Gobblegum, and luckily we know exactly what they are. The first one is Power Keg. This comes from Black Ops 4, and in that game it spawned you a full power drop. That's pretty much one of the only ones we're missing in this game, so that looks like it's going to be replaced here. You can spawn yourself a full power, might be really useful in boss fights or final steps of Easter eggs, things like that. It's pretty cool. We are also going to be getting a brand new Gobblegum called Time Stop, which according to Kevin Drew, basically like times out the round, like you sort of freeze the round in a way. Now, I don't think this is killing time to where everything literally freezes in place. It sounds like everything just kind of stops or goes away momentarily. I think maybe everything actually despawns instead of freezing. I'm not totally sure how this one will work, but it almost sounds like a variation of killing time. But this one is going to be fascinating to bring into game and really figure out how it works. And then the final Gobblegum is going to be a whimsical. This is Holiday Cheer, which makes these zombies spawn in with festive wreaths. Now, obviously, this does not change anything gameplay-wise. Whimsical Gobblegums don't affect anything other than aesthetics. So we're getting two actual, game-changing Gobblegums and one whimsical. All right, real quick, before we get to the good stuff about the new map, let's just quickly discuss what they're doing with Manglers. We're actually getting a big nerf to these. So they're essentially going to be cutting the Mangler spawn rate in half, and they're also going to be capping out and topping out at around 100. And their cannon, arms will also be easier to break and destroy. So Manglers are getting a pretty hard nerf, making high rounds maybe a lot more manageable and just pleasurable to play. So we'll see, but they are be getting a massive nerf, as well as special rounds they say will be way shorter. So you know, once you're plus like 60, 70 rounds, the special rounds go on for like 5 minutes, and they're going to be cutting that down quite a lot, which I think is a good change. And I assume that will play all across the board. But let's go and talk about the new map and some of the new content. Now, I'm going to be real. They go into an excruciating amount of detail about the map in this COD blog. I'm going to leave it linked in the description if you want to read about it. I don't think a ton of it is incredibly relevant to what we're talking about. I think a lot of this is just going to be what we self-evidently see in game, but I wanted to distill the most important things here. So obviously, Citadelle Des Morts takes place in this castle, and we are hunting down a man named Franco. And as we saw in the intro cinematic, this is going to be our crew for the map. Obviously, Weaver, Gray, Carver, and Maya are our playable crew, followed by Sam, Peck, Ravenov, Strauss, and Raptor 1 being our handlers and the people that talk to us throughout the map. Ravenov is returning. The last time we saw him was Firebase Z, and we're going to see what he's been up to this whole time. Like I said, I'm not going to go over the crazy amount of detail they talk about in this blog. I'm just going to show you bits and screenshots of the map as we talk about this, but Kevin Drew has explained Citadelle Des Morts as being as big as Terminus, but a lot more compact and a little bit more claustrophobic, right? Terminus has a lot of square footage, but a ton of that area is just water. However, he's saying that Citadelle Des Morts is just literally as big as it, pretty much square footage wise, but it's going to be a lot more sort of compacted in. There's more playable space, it sounds like, you know, if you're not including the water stuff. So it sounds like it's going to be a pretty big and intricate map. Let's talk about the new enemy type in this map called the Doppelganger. Now, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the description that they give this enemy. They say, roughly translated as double horror from the original German and Old English respectively, these tormented ghouls are pale imitations of something that looks human but most certainly isn't. Serving as the next stage in the evolutionary chain of dark ether metamorphosis, doppelgangers are violent and display erratic and unsettling movement as if each head independently is fighting for control of its body. It lurches, randomly knots itself up to perform fast and unexpected maneuvers, and tends to outrun its lesser brethren using its powerful elongated feet. These sound absolutely horrifying, and the unpredictable movement is the thing that kind of excites me about this, but also freaks me out a little bit. I think zombies with unexpected movement can maybe disrupt the gameplay loop a little bit if not handled correctly, but so far, Treyarch's done a good job with their special enemies, and I trust that this one will be good too. But this is easily the scariest one we've gotten. I mean, this thing looks absolutely like horrifying. I would also like to point something out. Treyarch tweeted a photo of one of these doppelgangers, and you can see these kind of red runes floating around it, and these are similar runes from MWZ, from Vanguard Zombies, and also kind of looks like some of these Sentinel artifact runes in Black Ops 4. I think there's some really interesting stuff going on here, and I think this map is going to blow our minds just purely for the connections it makes. They also go on to mention about the doppelgangers is that it's not wise to underestimate them. They have a rapid melee strike attack where it lashes out its many tendrils and appendages. It can also burst forth an array of sharp, bloody needles to disrupt incoming attacks, and if they pierce flesh, the needles not only cause lacerating damage, but they target the nervous system, leading to hallucinations. Like, this enemy might literally make your player hallucinate if you get hit by this thing. And they also say, should a weak point be discovered and you finally take one down, you may want to stand back, as the final explosion of blood and gore is as revolting as it is spectacular. So maybe it causes damage. I don't know. Like, this enemy sounds unbelievable. Interestingly, they talk about other entities within the castle, and they say other ones have been observed in the vicinity of the castle include scuttling vermin, obviously from Liberty Falls, airborne parasites in Terminus, and grotesque appendage flailing behemoths known as amalgams. So it sounds like we're getting these new doppelgangers, amalgams, vermin, and parasites. They don't mention Mangler, so I'm not totally sure if they're going to appear on this map. I would be okay with having a map without Manglers. That's completely fine to me. But what you might be thinking is like, okay, this is going to be a very different high round map than if you're not getting shot at all the time. Well, we'll talk about that in a second, but let's talk about one of the most exciting aspects of Citadelle Des Morts. This is the Bastard Sword Wonder Weapon. Everything we're seeing about Citadelle Des Morts screams Der Eisendrache inspiration, from the gameplay to all of the information we're seeing. The Wonder Weapons are absolutely no exception to that. So we're getting this Claymore sword called the Bastard Sword, and this is going to be just the base version of it, and it's going to replace your dedicated melee slot, or what is otherwise usually your knife in game. So you can hold two guns, plus you're going to be able to hold this brand new Claymore as well. But they say the Bastard Sword is a formidable weapon, but it can also be transformed into one of 4 elemental wonder weapons, each with a unique and devastating special attack, as well as a passive effect that is powered up over time. What's crazy is that these also have defensive capabilities. These have a parry function for projectiles. So not only are these like obviously used for offense, but they're even defensive as well. And I imagine we're going to be getting shot at by a variety of things in this map, maybe even the boss later on. But we have all 4 of the elemental swords right here. The first one is Calburn, which is Dragon's Fire, creates a fiery maelstrom of burning undead flesh, setting zombies alight and summoning an immense fireball. This is basically the firebow, pretty much, lads, or the fire staff. Next, we have Durandal, which is the Stag of Storms. This summons a thunderous power from the skies, discharging voltaic power to stun and stagger before an electrical beam serves up a severe searing. So this is kind of like a big Zeus sword, you know what I'm saying? Like this is just a big lightning sword, kind of like a lightning bow, I imagine. And next we have Balmung, which is Raven Shadow. This is a dark sword and or like what the Void Bow probably is. This casts your rotting foes into the ethereal abyss, warping nearby enemies with a focused liminal tear. You literally cut like a hole into the fabric of space-time. That is absolutely wild. And last but not least, we have Soleil, the Lion of Light. This says, the warmth of light courses through you as you send your foes screaming into the darkness. This kind of reminds me of the Hand of Hemera in Ancient Evil and Black Ops 4. I imagine these are going to function sort of similar to the gauntlets from that map. But these look absolutely just insane, and I cannot believe they've already showed all 4 wonder weapons just flat out to us. But these are all going to be acquirable in-game, I imagine, through their own individual quests. And of course, I mean, lads, if you haven't yet subscribed, please do. I will have, you know, a video very quickly on how to build these swords. Like, I got y'all covered, so don't worry about that. But we have a handful of new features coming to the map as well, including traps. There's an oil trap. There's a lion cannon. There's some, like, syndicate loot crates, I imagine, you know, very similar to, like, how Terminus has loot crates in the water. There's points of power. There's additional, like, artifacts and intel and stuff to uncover. So I think this map is going to be genuinely ridiculous. It also looks like in Season 1 Reloaded, they're adding a zombies training course, which just, like, shows you the basics of the mode, I guess. But it's like, clearly they didn't watch my ultimate guide. I mean, that would have covered everything right there. But I guess this would be cool if somebody who has literally never played zombies and knows genuinely nothing about the mode, this kind of just shows you the absolute basics of everything. And it's also worth noting that directed mode will be coming with Citadelle Des Morts sometime early next year. We are also getting Jingle Hells, which will completely overhaul Liberty Falls and temporarily give you some additional rewards, and as well as have some different mechanics there. So that'll be pretty cool. It looks like it's going to be a lot better than it was in D Machine. But I'm going to be honest, lads, I don't know how they're going to have a better update. I think this is the biggest zombies update we may have ever gotten. So just a quick TLDR, we're getting a new map, Citadelle Des Morts. We're getting a new perk, Vulture Aid, Light Mend ammo mod, Tesla Storm, new field upgrade, 4 brand new wonder weapons, plus maybe some additional ones they haven't talked about in the new map. We're also getting Jingle Hells and plenty of other things that this map will uncover. But I'm going to have you guys covered with an ultimate guide for this new map, as well as Easter egg guides and stuff like that. So make sure to subscribe and stick around if you have not yet already. The map will be coming out in just 2 days' time, so now is the best time to be here. I appreciate you guys for watching. Let me know what you think down below, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out, guys.